And just like that, it's out. So everybody that's been watching my build for the TJ, or Squatchy TJ, we're getting into another phase of the build. And today, all our parts is finally in. And before we start some of the other projects we got going on, we're gonna try to finish up what we got. And we're gonna start today doing a Motobilt stretch gas tank underneath. And we're gonna add about 4 more inches to the wheelbase in the rear, which should get us about 101 on the wheelbase. Got new Clayton arms already built, and a new Antirock to go on the rear. First off, you got 4 bolts on the back, which I've done took a couple of them out. And never mind my little table, my transmission jack's tied up, so we're gonna do with what we got. And then if you look under here, these 3 bolts. I don't know how good you can see it, but these 3 bolts up under here you gotta take out and unplug the tank. So I already got the filler lines loose, so we're gonna get started. And just like that, it's out. Very nice quality tank by Motobilt. Mine is a 98 TJ. And with this tank, it requires a 05-06 fuel pump. So we got a new pump, then we got to change some wiring. No big deal. I got the plugs ready. Comes with this nice steel, which we're gonna have to paint right quick, but comes with this nice steel skid plate that goes under it. Took it all away. Comes with your straps, and you got your ring that locks the tank in, some rubber to go in the bottom tank, and we'll get to that. Some Rust Tough. Been using it for several years and always done a good job. Cover's really good. Holds up good. We scuffed and painted wheels with them and off-roaded with them and start working on the fittings. We got a fitting here, event valve and rollover valve. And we may have a little bit of trouble because I forgot to get me a fitting for this one. You can cap it off or use it. So I gotta look to see if I got a fitting. So we're gonna try to take care of that while the paint's drying. And this is what I was talking about, is a vent valve, but it's got a ball in the end of it. So they consider that the roller valve, because if the Jeep rolls over, that little ball seals off and keeps any gas from running out this vent. So you always put a little bit of either what they call pipe dope, or I'm using thread tape on the threads, and then gotta take a 7/8 wrench to run it in. Alright, so I did get the vent valve, roller valve installed. The pump's ready, setting in, ready to go in. Just gotta wait on the hold down to dry. But this, it comes with a fitting welded in. Because a lot of tanks like mine's got two vents that run into one. It says you don't have to use it, but you have to have a cap, and that is a 8N fitting. And I can't remember exactly what size it is. I think it might be a 10AN. So I'm gonna have to Probably install it, maybe, so I can get the Jeep running, and then I might have to drop it back down. I might have to get me a fit, and I may be able to reach it and put it on. But so we'll just keep on going and doing what we can. So it's a little cool in the shop today. Tank's not wanting to dry real quick. I did get the hoses put on the tank, tighten up a little bit. May have to move them. My TJ does have the YJ gas filler in it. With my rear TNT stretch corners, I had to move to there because it's cut out, and I'm going to have to cut this out some more with this stretch I'm doing now. So while this is all still drying, we're gonna start moving these coil spring mounts. These are Rusty's correction mounts, and they're adjustable. I'm gonna move them back in the father's hole. Hopefully that's enough. If not, we may do some more modifications to get this stretch in, but we're gonna go ahead and try to move them and get that ready. So we're gonna move both sides. This is the Clayton truss. I got the arms, like I say, already, so hopefully that goes smooth. So we're gonna start on that a little bit, get my stands in here to set the rear end on, and so I can take the springs and all out, and we'll try to move on that, get that started on while we wait on this paint to dry. Go ahead and see a problem that I'm gonna run into. So these mounts have this plate wet on. It's got your adjustable holes in it. I was in this hole. I only got one more I can go. It needs to be back here. So we're gonna have to notch this little piece out of the, probably notch it somewhere back here. Notch it out of this cross member, which holds your body mounts. No real big deal. I mean, it holds the gas tank too, but it's got plenty of extra here. Held your shocks originally, but my shocks are outboarded, so I'm gonna notch this, trim this out, and probably trim a little bit out of the frame, make a piece to put back in it so I can get back enough to do this stretch. So I'm gonna see if we can figure that out and do some cutting. But this would not move back because it was right there in that hole, and it needs to go back to that hole. So now it can go back to that hole, but it really, I think, it's gonna need to come back way back here. So pretty sure we're gonna have to notch that frame out. And figure out how to like notch it straight up beside this mount.
It's a bee.
I know, he's been in here aggravating the far out of me. I wish he could be all he could be and get out of here. I think that's actually pretty much in line with that cross member there where the edge is. So I think I can just take the sawzall or grinder and cut straight up, straight over, notch that out, and I'll have to make some little plates to weld back in there, and then be able to slide this on back. I think I'm gonna need one more hole about where that little indention looking spot right there is. I think it's about to come back about right there, because there's where it's going now. I think it's gonna need to be about, at least about right there, probably. So we shall see. So these are the new arms we're fixing to install. This is the 5-inch stretch arms from Clayton. I run Clayton Arms. I run Rock Crawler Springs. Rock Crawler, great company. Love their springs, triple rates. But I've always been keen. We used to do pulling trucks. I've always been keen on using. I love the square tubing. A lot less likely to bend it. I don't wheel really hard, but these are quarter wall square tubing lowers, and the uppers are 1/8 wall, so they slide over everything pretty good. And I just like square tubing. I like being a little different too, so that's just all what you prefer. They both companies make great products.
Yeah.
So my wife, the camera lady, my website, whatever you want to call her.
Your better half.
Yeah, my better half that does all of my media, social media stuff. She's here moving the camera around so maybe y'all can get a better view. Factory's 93.5. We were right at 96.5. We're hoping to be at least 100 to 101. The best way I kind of know how to set these up is I'm gonna put a bolt each end, and then I'll set the other new arm down on it to make sure they're the same length. That makes it pretty close. 36 inches. Which is going to be 3.5 inches longer than what we were. So that's where we're going to start. That should give us maybe 100.5 wheelbase, which I'll be happy with for a little while. So we got the arms in. Got them set pretty much where we think we want them. Got the tank installed. Not completely. This is just trial fit. You always want to kind of trial fit everything. We do know, already knew the drive shaft, it's done come apart. We knew it was going to be too short when you're trying to stretch it 3.5 to 4 more inches. These, we moved them back and thought they would work, but we're going to have to move them on back about another 1.5 inches. And the gas tank fits, but my backup light, the wires is a little in the way, so I'm gonna have to move them. But that's why you always try to trial fit it and just not just stick it in and go with it. But everything clears on top of the tank. Plenty of room. And that's where I was talking about earlier that he didn't have to have a 1-inch body lift with this like you do the Generac tank. I think this is a 14.5 gallon tank. My factory one was a 15. Just because it was a 4-cylinder, so I'm not losing a lot of capacity. And we don't drive it on real long trips or nothing. So I think we'll be good. We're gonna let it down and see what it looks like.
I think it looks good.
And see now, how much would you stretching it back? That 4 more inches, 3.5, 4 more inches, it made the rear lower control arms a little flatter. It's not as steep of an angle like they were.
Right.
But, yeah, the coil spring mount is going to have to go back. If they are a little, coil springs are a little angly. It didn't change this a whole lot though, so we're gonna be good with this. This bracket here will be good. I just need to take the shock bracket off and shorten it up and weld it back on the rear end. We finally set it on the ground for the first time now. We added about 3.5 inches. We should be close to the 100-inch wheelbase. I may not have quite made it. We may be 99.5. We haven't really measured it yet. We done a Motobilt stretch tank in the rear because I was already stretched enough with the factory tank. I was touching the skid plate and making marks in it. So we changed to the Motobilt. I done the one that you can run without the body lift because I didn't want to raise the Jeep any higher. We got it all in. It's all plumbed up, wired it up last night, tested it. Jeep cranks, runs. So all that hopefully is good to go. I know we gained 3 inches because the arms I put in, it was the Clayton's rear stretch arms, and they were 3 inches longer than what my ones I had in it from Clayton were. So we know we gained at least 3 inches. I had to move my upper mounts back. I already had the upper spring relocation kit, but I had to cut my shock mount, just cut part of it off, notch the frame, fill it back in, and I moved my upper mount, slid it on back, re-drilled the holes. I'm probably gonna have to weld that in place now instead of just letting the bolt hold it. But we got all that done. Spring set down the ground with all the weight on it. Spring lines up straight, so I'm happy with that. The tank all clears. Brake line, I just had to make a little extension bracket to move it a little farther forward. That's all done. Drive shaft, I had a shorty S-Way kit in the case, and luckily I still had another S-Way kit, the regular length, so I was able to put it in, which gives you 3 inches over the shorty one. And that put my drive shaft back to the right length, so I don't have to get my drive shaft done. I got all the speedometer rewired because we changed the plugs on it, so all that should be good to go. We're down now to putting the oil in the case, skid plate back under it. I got to finalize the adjustment on the arms, get the side to side, square it up, and make sure the length is same on the bottom arms, so everything's square. My shocks, I had to cut my shock mounts and redo them on the bottom, move them in. I'm not really satisfied all the way with them, but they will work for now. I did change the travel a little bit. I gained, when I moved my shock mounts, my best estimate, I lost 2 inches up travel but gained 2 inches of down travel. So hopefully that'll help some clearance for cutting the body back here. I know I'm gonna have to trim my armor, but hopefully I don't have to trim quite as much. So main thing I gotta do is just finish up oil in case, skid plate, and we're starting to put the Antirock on the rear. And hopefully we can be done today. Hopefully get it done today and be able to get a little test drive maybe tomorrow. We'll give you a little walk around. It's done inside the shop. We stretched the rear 3 more inches. We haven't measured it yet, but it should be close to the 100-inch mark with what we had the front done and out of the rear. We had to move the springs back, done some modification on shock brackets, changed the rear shock, or the lower brackets, added the Antirock, had to custom fab some brackets for it on the frame. Just kind of straightened up everything. Added the Motobilt stretch tank, which works real good. We added the one that had the, didn't have to have a body lift because I didn't want a body lift on it. So it's all installed. Changed transfer case slip yoke kit out to go back to get my drive shaft to work back right, so we didn't have to build another drive shaft. And it's all done, been test drove. We'll have some pictures of testing the flex what we can on a vehicle. But it's been test drove, runs good, drives good. Actually don't sway as bad with the rear Antirock on it now because it had a little bit of sway with the front one on it and not the rear. So it all seems to be good now. And we'll see how it goes.